Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. More and more people every day are getting diagnosed with autoimmune challenges, deficiencies, diseases, and a lot of us have theories on that. Our lifestyles now may be bringing that on with all the toxins in the food that we eat and our lifestyles in general, or there's many other reasons. How do you handle that? How do you navigate autoimmune challenges if you don't want to take even medication? What about herbs? Yeah, natural remedies. And we're going to talk to somebody who is a master herbalist and give us a lot of insight on the autoimmune situation. Amy Willis is back with us. Hi, Amy. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great.
So when we talk about autoimmune diseases, are they all diseases? Let's start there.
Well, that's a good question. So it's a progression. So you get, the immune system, first of all, autoimmune condition. Okay, what is it? Really, it's actually where your own immune system is fighting you instead of fighting pathogens. Okay. So when that happens, that's a real problem. But so it is a progression. So a person can start, it's not like, you all of a sudden get cancer. It starts out slowly and then grows until finally you have cancer. And that's the same with other diseases or conditions as well. So autoimmune, you can start having an autoimmune, I call it a disorder, first before it becomes a disease. And then that can go on for years and you have problems. You don't know what's wrong. You're told it's in your head and all this kind of stuff. And then eventually it becomes a disease. Okay. A few different autoimmune diseases are like Hashimoto's, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, so forth.
Thank you for saying that, because I just texted with somebody today. And if I may, I'm going to just double check here, because I think she said she is dealing with Crohn's. Hold on one second here. And I always wondered if that was an autoimmune situation. Yeah, she has that. So I never knew that was, I didn't know that was connected to autoimmune challenges. Wow. Interesting. Right. Why do these start in us? Why do they flare up? Is it our lifestyle? Can it be our lifestyle? Can it be our food?
Good question. So, once again, there's around 80 and over 80 diseases that are autoimmune. Okay. So, and then once you get one, you can get other ones. Okay. So now, what I find in the 12 years that I've been practicing, because, medically speaking, when you get an autoimmune disease, they don't really know where it's coming from. Okay. You just get it. Okay. Well, I have a little bit of a theory here. Okay. So first we have to look at, because I do functional medicine, and we always ask the question, what is the purpose or the function of this bodily system? Okay. So then we look at the whole body instead of just one thing. Okay. So now the scientific method is you have a hypothesis, you do different experiments, and then when you get the same result over and over again, then you form a theory. Okay. So I do have a theory about autoimmune disorders, diseases. And what I found is that the main cause are three, but mostly two. One would be immunizations, okay, vaccinations. So, and there's a lot of debate about vaccinations and so forth, but I'm going to go with what I have learned over the years. Okay. And when you think about it, when you give a person a vaccination, you inject something into the body foreign to stimulate the immune system, where that's a totally unnatural way. That's not how our immune system works. Our immune system doesn't have, so this invasion into the body, the immune system has like a conniption. per se, and goes a little bit crazy. Now, maybe the body can handle it for some of the shots, but eventually it can develop into autoimmune. So I will give an example here. So how I came to that conclusion. So I'll have families come, and they'll have, especially the families that have a large number of children, 5 or more. So their first child, they gave them all the regular shots. But they didn't it got less and less. And then the last one, they didn't give them any. Okay. So it's like the first one has an autoimmune condition, whereas the youngest and others, they don't at all. And that's not just 1 or 2 cases. That's like repeated over and over again. Okay. So that's part of how I put my theory together. So then the next, so that's one is the vaccinations, the immunizations can bring on. So that's the other issue with that is that with the rise of increase in vaccinations, because when like we were children, we didn't get that many shots. Now children are getting a large number. So we have seen an increase. Okay, so vaccination increase, autoimmune conditions increase alongside. Okay, so that's another warning sign there. Now, the second reason or condition that I see that many people end up getting autoimmune condition is when they have parasites. Okay, so here's children who come in, they never got a shot in their life, but they are loaded with parasites and they have an autoimmune condition.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So, and if you look at it, and then there's a lot of other examples here, but if you look at it, how the body works, how the body functions. So here's an invader, a parasite, a pathogen, and it goes somewhere in the body. So it can go to the gut. And then these pathogens or parasites per se, they want to survive just like all of us. They also want to survive. So they do it. It's like a whole war in your body going on. So these parasites, they try to hide, they try to evade our immune system because our immune system can sense there's a foreign invader in here, I'm going to attack it. But then these parasites try to hide, camouflage, and do all this kind of stuff. So when they have, so these parasites or whatever, they will hide in different parts of the body. Diabetes type 2 is an autoimmune condition as well. So they can hide in the pancreas and you can get diabetes. Okay, they can hide in the thyroid and you end up getting Hashimoto's. They can hide in the gut, then you get Crohn's. Okay.
Can I jump in with lots of questions thus far?
Sure.
Okay, when we talk about parasites, and it's kind of a buzzword now, are the parasites coming from potentially our food? Yes.
Yes, that's an excellent question. Where in the world are these parasites coming from? So there's a lot where you can get. So now I have a lot of ranchers, farmers, they're loaded with parasites. Any working in the dirt. Okay, so if you're, even working in the garden, working in the dirt, you can get parasites. You can get parasites from your animals. I got numerous. It just brings to mind all these examples of people.
Sure.
You can get parasites from your food, undercooked meat, shell food. Pork is a big one. Pork is loaded. Okay. And then you can get parasite from other people as well. Okay. Now we all know about cleaning cat litter, how you can get parasites, and the parasites are so damaging for pregnant women, and pregnant women shouldn't be doing that. So we know that, but there's a lot of other ways that we can get
at this moment, I just want to run and get a test. Okay. How is it determined? Is it determined by a blood test or what?
Well, as far as parasites go, the medical system is doesn't really find. They're not going to find what they're not looking for. Okay, so is anybody looking for parasites in the heart or in the thyroid or in the liver, nobody's really looking for that. So they're not going to really find it. At the medical, you can do, stool samples, and then they'll find certain ones. For the most part, they're looking for just certain ones. Okay. Like one or two or this, but there's many more. So,
Sure.
yeah.
What type of test finds it? Is it a stool sample? Is it a blood test? Would that get it done as well?
I don't believe those will. The regular medical method, I don't believe will find parasites. But what I use muscle testing, okay, also known as applied kinesiology, and that's how I can find it. And then there's other methods like live blood analysis that can help as well.
Wow.
To find it.
I got to ask questions. Please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so muscle testing, I'm loosely aware of. There's many different ways to do it. How does that tell you that somebody has parasites?
There's just certain pressure points, if you want to call it that we test. Okay, and then I have a method in which, yes, they have it, no, they don't. And then how bad is it? I use a scale of 1 to 10. Is it real bad? Is it not so bad? Yeah.
Wow. So with that, and when we say muscle testing, I mean, this is a basic muscle test, but I've heard this one through different modalities. Like if somebody asks a question and you're trying to pull away, is it
Right.
true? Like, is my name Jim? No, it's not. And my name is Steve. So that's one type of muscle testing in terms of the pressure. But you're saying that can determine somebody has parasites, though?
Right. So we use that method. Like, you can pull the arm down, you can do the finger.
Sure.
Those are the method of how you do it. But then what you are going to look for, like I will muscle test all the major glands and organs, and infections, infestations. There are other professionals and practitioners that do a little bit different. Mine is, pretty original, the method that I use. Yeah, but we seem to find a lot. And there's even verbal muscle testing too. So
and I know it works, but I'm intrigued how it can help sniff out parasites. Like, okay, wow. Like you learn things. How long can a parasite live in somebody's body, or parasites?
well, it depends on the parasite. So there's different types. There's a lot of different types.
Of
So
course.
it's, tapeworms are considered the most difficult to get, and the most one of the stronger ones, and they can be big. So I've had a lady that passed like a 10-inch tapeworm, you know 2 of them one day, and then the next week some more. I think it was a total of about 6 of them. But usually, and other people have passed other kinds, like white specked ones and then black specked ones and so forth. So I know our formulas work really well to get a good array of different parasites.
Wow. This is like scary stuff, because just knowing that something's feeding off of you, inside of you, is just enough. But then to know that could be causing so many health issues that you might not even realize is just mind-blowing. And like you said, so many different ways that we can be getting them, from our food, other people, our animals, our jobs, all of that. And that could even lead to a autoimmune system problem, right?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I found.
So before we continue, real quick, are you able to determine if somebody has parasites virtually, or they have to be in your presence?
Right. I wish I could. And there are some people who do muscle testing over the phone. I do find, because muscle testing is subjective, and I like to be accurate. And so I like to do it in person. So no, it has to be in person. That's my policy. But I've had people travel quite a ways to come
Sure.
here.
And I totally understand it, because they say that you can do muscle testing on yourself, I don't really have success with it. I've tried all different types and I've tried to, not overthink it. Even the sway test where, you ask yourself questions and see which way you gravitate to. And you give yourself baseline questions, true and false. It doesn't work for me.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe I need more practice, but I just don't. Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I could find the answers within, but that's why there's trained professionals like you. So autoimmune situation, somebody's been diagnosed, they have it, whatever it might be, call it Crohn's or whatever. Now, an herbal approach to it, where do we go from there?
Okay. Good question. So, so once we find out that they do have autoimmune, and that's through muscle testing as well, then I have through muscle testing found what works. Okay, because even alternative wise, there's not a lot out there to say, okay, this definitely works for autoimmune. Okay, there was one product that I did know about. Um, so now I have about 6 different ones that we can use. I always recommend people to take 2 of them. Okay, so one is I'll show you some of them. The mushroom. Mushroom tends to help with autoimmune. So this is one from Dr. Mercola. This is a good one. And then fermented cod liver oil. So regular cod liver oil won't do the job. It has to be fermented. And I get the brand from Green Pasture. And this is a really good one, high quality. And then one we formulate ourselves here, it's called Immune Ease. This has been around for a good while. This is a simple herbal formula with just 2 herbs, marshmallow and astragalus. And that just calms the immune system down.
Wow.
And I have one more I can show you here if
Sure.
I can just reach it. So this is another one that I found that works, that is just really simple. It's Juice Plus. So I usually recommend at least the fruit and the vegetable. Okay, so this will be like a multivitamin as well, even though it is a nutritional product. It's just fruits and vegetables, juiced, dehydrated. And then I was surprised when I found that this works for autoimmune. So when people do this, the protocol, they have to get rid of the parasites. There's other things that we work on. And then they take at least 2. So I usually recommend like taking the Juice Plus as a primary, and then one of the other ones. And then their autoimmune does improve. Okay. And I would say it eventually is non-existent. So
Wow.
I can find that out through muscle testing too.
I'm just blown away that can be determined through muscle testing, and the Juice Plus products, which I'm sure we can get those through you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have friends that swear by them. I mean, for years. And I know that Juice Plus is also connected to what's called Tower Gardens. So these
Right.
friends also
Yes.
grow their own vegetables in their house in this, plastic tower that's hydroponic. But that company is extremely solid and very reputable. And I hear that from
Yes.
friends. So yeah, good stuff. So is
Yes.
there something that we could or should be taking? Let's say we don't know if we have parasites, but just to be proactive, is there something we could take that's just good, just in general for our health, but could also attack the parasites?
I do recommend getting the parasite formula that we put together. It's simple formula, but it's so effective. And you just don't want to play around with parasites. I've had people take diatomaceous earth that's known to kill parasites, but it's not strong enough.
They take what?
Diatomaceous earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that known as DE?
It could be.
Okay.
Everything's abbreviated nowadays.
Is it okay? Have you seen it? Is it a white powder?
Right. It's a white powder.
All right, don't laugh, but I think that's used in pools, in pool systems.
Okay.
Large amounts, large
Right.
amounts. And interestingly, if I'm going to put the two together, that's usually put in the water of a pool to attach to the screen that's in the pool, which filters the garbage that's in your pool. It sticks to it. So maybe that's what we're talking about here. Maybe the parasites it has something to do with, grabbing the parasites and eradicating at some point. But interesting. Wow.
Yes.
So the starting point for anybody that's concerned if they have parasites, they would reach out to you. If you're in South Dakota, correct?
Right.
Okay. So they could come to you, do muscle testing, determine if they have parasites. If they can't make it there, but they want to work with you, could they get that test someplace else and then connect with you and work on it on a herbal level?
Well, the type of muscle testing that I do, there's not that many that do that type. So I'm not sure if that's going to work. But for those, I do have people who I do like phone calls. I'm going to start up Zoom calls, and we
Sure.
just do because I sort of know, what to do. So the muscle testing really helps because then we can follow up progress. So that is the best choice. And I have had people from out of state come,
Hmm.
and then they do the initial muscle testing, the first one, and then after that we do it by phone. So I've had that, but then there's other people they really can't come. So then we just do phone consultation, and that has worked well too,
So
because
we're talking though about autoimmune challenges. Parasites don't cause all of them, correct?
right.
Okay. So there's other reasons why you may have it. If somebody has been diagnosed with some type of autoimmune disease or challenge, um, can they virtually anywhere on the planet, I guess, connect with you to work on it on an herbal level?
Yes, yeah, they can
Okay.
contact
Yeah. I mean, like
us.
my friend, I don't know if she has parasites, Crohn's. Again, she just messaged me and said, I've been sick all night. Maybe this is an answer instead of using traditional methods or whatever a doctor is saying in terms of medication. I don't know about autoimmune challenges. So I'm shooting in the dark here, but I'm thinking that if somebody says, I'm tired of taking pills, I'm tired of medication, what can I do that's more holistic? As a master herbalist, I'm thinking there's things that they could try through you.
Yes, definitely. Like, so with Crohn's itself, the herb slippery elm or marshmallow, that right there is excellent for it and it helps heal. But we also just do a simple parasite cleanse. Then there's another, you know, formula by Dr. Christopher called the lower bowel, and that is very good for the lower bowel. So it's not just a muscle testing that is
Sure.
important. There's there's a lot of information and practice that's been going on for years, dating way back in the late 1800s and then early 1900s and on, because Dr. Christopher was the one that founded the School of Natural Healing, which I went to, where I got trained out of. And, he has so much information and so much experience for all sorts of disorders and problems, challenges.
Hmm. Yeah, I more and more I hear about this, I just want to go down the natural road. I try not to take medication. Full disclosure, had an ulcer years ago. It's been flaring up lately. And what am I taking? Nexium, acid reducer, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to take that. And now there was just some research that came out that those types of medications can lead to dementia later in life. Scary. I mean, even for, we talking about digestive here with Crohn's, like an ulcer situation that's diagnosed. What would you take for that on an herbal level?
Okay, so I got a real funny story about an ulcer. Do we have time?
We literally have a minute
Okay, well,
ish.
okay, so I'll go real quick here. So here's this guy. This was back in Dr. Christopher's time, and Dr. Christopher was big on cayenne pepper, red pepper, and so this man's wife was into all of that, and he made fun of her, and you know, this and that. But he had a lot of pain with his ulcers, and he couldn't sleep at night. So he got so depressed one time. His wife was gone, and he decided he was going to end it. He just couldn't do it anymore. So he looked through all, the medicine cabinet because he was going to try to find a drug that would kill him. But his wife had gotten rid of everything, so he couldn't find anything. So he found the red pepper and he said, this ought to do it. This ought to do it. So he just took a huge amount of that. And then he just went, I don't know how he got it down, but He took a lot, and then he went lie down on his bed, and he was like, I'm just gonna let it do its work. And the next thing he knew, his wife was waking him up the next day. He had not slept like that for a long time because of the pain of the ulcers. And so that cayenne just alleviated the pain, helped do some healing. And after that, he was a believer in the, natural healing.
And that goes exact to the complete opposite of what one would think, because you have an ulcer, very sensitive. They tell you, don't drink coffee. Here's my coffee. Don't, acidic foods, all of that. And then here's a guy taking pepper, which would be probably the last thing you should be taking for that. And it helped alleviate the pain, and he slept. What are the chances of that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Lots to learn, lots to talk about. We're out of time, unfortunately. Amy, how do we contact you? How do we find you?
You can go to my website, herbs, the number 4, you.org, or you can call at 605-254-1437.
Wow. Thanks for today and all the insight and the information. Even the muscle testing part of things. I'm intrigued. There's more to muscle testing than a lot of us realize if it can determine things like parasites in your body. And there's lots more to talk about. I look forward next time we get together. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.